I oftentimes get this bonanza of memories going on in my head, random things, and sometimes it's like, worth sharing with my family for a chuckle or maybe a sigh of happiness. And let me specify something that popped up in my head recently. I'm not gonna use, the subject of the video of the guy I'm talking about. I'm not gonna use his real name, and I'm not gonna use the names of any places or specify anything like that. But in about, I'm going to say the late 90s, we would attend this place. Well, periodically. I'm just going to maybe just call it a commune. I would attend more so than my other family. They would just kind of attend maybe intermittently or something of that nature. So I remember vividly, lots of faces, lots of names, even though this era was late 90s. I'm gonna say late 90s, more than likely so. But there was this boy, I'm gonna call him Joseph, and we used to see him, his mom, and his dad, and his sister at this commune. And I also remember details of his other family, but the main focus is going to be, Joseph. So we would this commune would have, these gatherings, these outings. I attended them, and Joseph would attend them also. Didn't really get to know Joseph well. He was, kind of maybe on the taciturn side, but he was a regular of this place, these outings. And one night at this speech, my mom and my twin sisters attended, and they noticed Joseph. I'm laughing already. But rest assured, this really did happen. I'm not making any of this shit up. It really did happen. Promise. But my twin sisters, and I'm thinking possibly my mama and papa, my uncle Frankie, Aunt Joyce, were together and conversed. And it's like the first thing my twin sisters wanted to do was inquire about Joseph, because they thought Joseph is so good looking. Both of my twin sisters. they kept on commending, saying Joseph is so extremely handsome, Joseph is so good looking. Ellie went on about it some, thinking, well, Joseph is like, very good looking, but Angie specifically said, who is that guy? He is good looking. And the subject of Joseph, came up periodically about that. Well, basically because my sister thought he was so good looking, so handsome. They kind of made it like, best looking guy in town. Joseph at the time was still in grammar school, and I think he was about to maybe enter high school. Mom filled me in on the details, but what happened to Joseph is he ended up acquiring diabetes. So my mom, when all this came about, filled me in about the prognosis of Joseph. Well, he was having these episodes at school. He was playing basketball or whatever, and kept on blacking out, real fatigue, something, and just kept on blacking out, just having all these episodes. They finally got him to a doctor, and then he was diagnosed with diabetes. Then he had to go on a regimen for his diabetes, which really ended up, helping bring him back. I know with diabetes, as long as you adhere to a specific, a sugar-free diet, certain, foods for diabetics, most of the time you'll be all right in life, which I think was a case of Joseph, but he just kept on passing out. They didn't know what was wrong with him at first. And Mom filled me in on Joseph being diagnosed with diabetes, and Mom herself said Joseph is good looking. Just ask your sister, Sam. That's what Mom told me. Yeah, just ask your sisters, because they will tell you Joseph is so good looking, as if I didn't already hear that for myself, right? All this time went on where I didn't really think about Joseph. And then all of a sudden, in the memory archive up here, the incident of Joseph pops up, of my sister saying he's good looking, so good looking. I met Mom, Bruce, and my sister Ellie, at Longhorn last night. We were discussing, just random topics, and maybe some reminiscent moments here and there. And then I let it be known, hey, one of the memories that popped up in my head is that time that Ellie and Angie, like, commended Joseph for being so good looking. Ellie did not remember right off. Well, I did tell Ellie that Angie emphasized it more. And then Ellie, like, gotta keep in mind this was the late 90s. Ellie, like, texted Angie and said, "Do you remember saying Joseph is so very good looking? Question mark after question mark." Angie didn't have a clue. What I did last night to refresh Angie's memory was I sent a picture to her of, I found Joseph on Instagram, and I sent a picture of Joseph to Angie, and I said, "This is Joseph, the guy that the twins thought was extremely cute way back." And Angie goes, I'll read this just as it is. "I have no idea who that is." And I'm like, really? How degrading. How can you forget such a climax moment? A period of time where the fun was just at its climax. All the mingling at the climax. Kind of like, if you've seen my video on my further down in my YouTube, my senior pick story, that was a moment of climax regarding, well, my sisters especially. I also informed Angie, I remember a conversation with a restaurant worker back in the late 90s. I think he was a restaurant worker. It seemed like they had known each other forever because they conversed with each other so very well. And I was impressed of how well they mingled. It was like they had known each other for years. And all these reminiscent moments at the summit, but yet the rest of my family forgets. It's like it's all goes into oblivion. I ended the text thread last night by saying, "Y'all should be grateful that you have me around, because if it weren't for me, all these memorable moments would go into oblivion."